Viewers' discretion. Please be aware that the views and opinions expressed by our guest are those of our guest solely, and they are not the views and expressions of the podcast or myself as Madam Speaker and the studios where we are recording. So if you want to come through as somebody who has the right to reply, if the episode is saying anything about you, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. But I want to emphasize that the views and opinions of the guest are solely of the guest and do not represent our channel, our podcast, or myself in any way, shape, or form.
You were abandoned go PBH hospital. Apparently, my biological mom left me there.
Okay.
With a smallanyana bag, clinic card, le birth certificate. She left me there. I was a newborn. Apparently, I was 2 weeks old.
Okay.
Your mom is 2 weeks for chemo. If we put her on chemo now, she's gonna die within a week. I'm 19. Imagine now a doctor is telling you your mom is gonna die.
Welcome to the Safe Space Chats podcast with Madam Speaker. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self-Love. If you're joining for the first time, welcome to the family of healing, self-love, and motivation. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing us. We are recording at number 7 Sedgwick Road in Isandovale, Barcelona. So if you want to come through, maybe you want to start your own podcast or anything like that, you're more than welcome to hit them up on the number that's appearing on your screen right now. And also, if you want to come through as our guest, there are 2 numbers which are appearing on your screen. You can choose either one of the numbers. And yeah, let's sit and have conversations like we're going to be having today with my beautiful sister. She's going to introduce herself and we'll go straight into the reason why we are here today. Sissy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Please introduce yourself to the viewers at home.
All right, I'm Nomakhozi, goes by the surname of Phala. I was born in Nelspruit and raised in Tsakani.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome. Welcome to the Safe Space Chats podcast. How are you feeling?
I'm a bit nervous, but I'm happy to be here.
Yes, don't
I'm
worry.
Very happy.
Being nervous is part of the, it goes with the sitting, you know.
Yes.
But you're in the safe space.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you did write to us that you wanted to sit and share a part of your life with us.
Yes, definitely.
You can just jump straight into it.
Okay, so I just felt the need to share about my journey of being adopted and how I met my biological families.
Okay.
So, as I said, I was born in Nelspruit and then I was raised in Tsakani.
Okay.
Raised in Tsakani and Boksburg.
Okay.
So, I actually attended school in Boksburg in Regenbach. My mom, who adopted me, was actually working at BBH Hospital. It goes by the name of Tambo Memorial Hospital now. Yeah. So, how did I actually find out about my adoption? I was actually never sat down, you know. I actually just bumped into this whole thing. So what happened was, growing up, I always wondered why my surname Nakili Phala.
Okay.
And my mom, and then she was married Mutswaledi. So I'm thinking,
it didn't make sense, the math.
Yes. So I was like, okay, maybe she's not telling me who my dad is. But then when the time is right, probably she will tell me.
Okay.
So, and then there came a time where I actually passed grade 7 going to grade 8. So then she had bought me stationery. After covering my books, ke bona hore ke na le file extra. So I said to her, hey man, dipampiri tsa hao di dutse snacks. Re ko file le dipampiri tsa hao, you know, and then you know the court orders tsa khale, and I was born in 1994.
Okay.
So the court orders tsa khale ne di ngwalwa ka Afrikaans, and I was doing Afrikaans as a first language in school. So I kafaila, and then I bump into the adoption court order. It's actually a foster care court order. So I read it. Oh, now it makes sense why Nakili Phala. And then, you know, but then the first thing I actually thought about was she never made me feel like she's not my mom.
Did she have other kids?
She had a son, but they didn't have a relationship.
Okay.
So at this point, I only heard that she has a son. I haven't met him.
Even now?
No, I actually...
During that time?
Yes, during that time. I haven't met him, but she has a son.
Okay.
But they don't get along. So I don't see him anyway. And then I just kept quiet. That was now in 2008 when I found this out. I kept quiet until I went to matric. And then her sister, my adopted mom's sister, was going through a divorce when I was in matric, and I actually really valued that marriage, because I felt at home there. So it actually really did break me. So she sent me one of those messages to WhatsApp. It's already today's Ask Me Anything Day, thinking maybe I'll ask her about the divorce.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, baby. Oh, I asked her, are you sure? She said yes, even if it's about daddy, because I called her husband daddy. She was like, even if it's about daddy, you can ask anything. I'll answer honestly. I said, okay, where do I come from? This is now the first time I actually talk about it. I never spoke to a friend or anyone about it, about the adoption.
Yeah.
So now I asked her, where do I come from? She blue ticked me, I think, for a week. She kept quiet. And then she came back.
Because she understood the question very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then she came back and asked, where does this question come from? I said, you must answer this one first. Then I'll tell you where the question comes from. She was like, okay, no, because your birthday is in 2 weeks. Let me rather call your mom, can I fetch you, and then you'll sleep over by me, and then we can have a conversation about it. And the only reason why I'll have this conversation with you is because I can see that you're matured and you really love God, you're close to God. So for those reasons, I'll tell you. I said, no problem. And then indeed she came and said, yeah, we went out, we went to Carnival City, we had games, we played games. And then we went back to our house. Now we're in bed. She wants to sleep. I said, vuka skulu.
Yeah.
Tell me, why am I here? How did I get here? And I think she prayed for almost an hour before she spoke. She prayed, and then she ended up telling me, no, you know what, you see, your mom, my adopted mom, ubereka ko BBH as a domestic worker.
Okay.
So she tells me, I'm not sure whether this is true or not, but then this is what your mom told us. Really family, you were abandoned. Go BBH hospital. There's a driveway thing. There's a So apparently my biological mom left me there.
Okay.
With a small bag, clinic card, birth certificate. She left me there, and then knock off time, my adopted mom. Then they got in there, they found me there. I was actually taken in hospital. I got admitted so that they could assess me. When she came back to work the following week, and then she bonded with me, and seeing that her son the nurses were like, no ma'am, because why don't you adopt the child? And she was like, okay, but then I'm a domestic worker, finances and whatnot. And the social workers, they said, I know, at least you know. And then that's how it happened here. That's how she took me. So before she actually took me from the hospital, she then went back to tell my aunt, the one who's telling me about the story now, her sister, now I take it.
Anyway, like you were a newborn.
I was a newborn. Apparently I was 2 weeks old.
Okay.
Yeah. So she then tells them, adopt and whatnot. And we're like, and then indeed she did come with me. And the rest was history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now, is your mom still around?
No, she passed on in my adopted mom.
Yes.
She passed on in 2014.
So that was after you had the conversation with your aunt?
Yes. I had the conversation with my aunt 2012.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what about your mom then? The conversation about you being adopted or you confirming?
She doesn't know. She doesn't know. And my aunt telling me this now, she also asks me, it's not my place to tell you this. So I'm only telling you because you asked me, and I can say, you are really matured. But because she tells me, several times we asked your mom to let you know what's happening. Not or anything. She's just letting you know, this is what happened. This is how you ended up being here. But they said, when they told my mom to tell me, she would always feel like maybe kitlokwata or because she never understood my character. She never understood my character. So I think maybe that's why she also had fear, maybe and whatnot, because she loved me very much.
And now, so you didn't even think of confronting her even after your aunt told you?
No, I didn't see the need to, because she never made me feel like I think that would be the only reason why I would want to confront her. Oh, that's why I don't treat her so, because hacking wana how. But then she never made me feel like that. And mind you, she was very strict and nashapa, you know. But out of all that, I never felt like hacking wana high.
Okay.
That's why I
That's why
never
you
felt
never
the
felt the
need.
need to confront her. And then now moving to your biological family, did you ever try to make means to be in contact with any family member or anything like that?
This only happened 2 years ago.
Okay.
It only started 2 years ago. Leading after my mom passed on in 2014, and that's when life really started to be hard, you know.
Okay.
And meanwhile, she was sick. She had breast cancer, and then it had spread to her whole body. So I was her sole caretaker at that time, and I was only 19. So she would always say, "Ish, why king? And you'll be alone." But then I was like, "But your sisters are there. But they was family." And you know, the family, I never felt like I don't belong.
Yeah.
Well, when I was like, I'm a family thing, and stuff. But then after she passed on, indeed, I really did feel that gap. Hey,
Reality
blood is
now is
thicker than
kicking.
water.
Yeah.
So now you must remember, my mom, she has a son, and this son, he's not even close to the family. Like, he abandoned the whole family. Libona haba mubatli, you know. And then the first time before my mom passed on in 2010, before she actually also got sick, and then the reason why she was fighting with her son is because she didn't want to tell him who his dad was.
Okay.
So that's what made them fight.
Isn't that also maybe one of the reasons why you also didn't want to confront her? Because you thought it would be maybe another similar situation?
Maybe it could be.
Okay.
It could be. Because my mom was also a secretive person. Yeah, she was very secretive. Yeah. So, but then mainly it was not, I don't think it was that, and I didn't see the need to actually address it. And also I was protecting her feelings as well. I don't want her to feel like I'm going to leave you and go and want my family and whatnot. You won't understand. Yeah.
But do you think to a certain degree maybe your brother's actions are valid? Not that we're validating his behavior of abandoning the family, but the fact that there's one thing that he wanted, which is like maybe a relationship with his dad and him just wanting to know.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that we're just touching in passing.
Yes.
Let's talk about after your mom passed away. You are saying that that's when you started to see that really blood is thicker than water.
Yes, I actually want to start more the part where I actually started seeing my I would say my brother.
Yeah.
Because my adopted mom.
Yeah.
So the first time I actually saw him was when he came to the house, and my mom and I, we were just chilling, Kuntlung. And then he came. The reason why they were fighting is because he wanted to know his dad, and my mom didn't want to tell him that. So he comes, Uta Home Affairs, to change his surname. Okay. Because Khonali Batu, who grew up with my mom, Bamona Ali pregnant, and the actual situation, according to my mom, was that Mutong pregnant. You know? So people who grew up with my mom told my brother, no, your dad is that this guy. Person, So my brother decided to go and change his surname to that guy's surname. And that guy had already passed on. So he comes to the house and he says to this is the first time I see him, and I'm in grade 10. And then he comes to the house, guy 8, he said, you know what, I can't know this Febe. So now so now I found out who my dad is, and I changed my surname. So they had a quarrel that day, and he left. Yeah. I never saw him again until 2014.
After
that day she died.
Yeah.
That day she died. So now, that day in the morning, I had knew because she had cancer. So 2013 in December, I took her to the doctor because she started getting worse. And then when I took her to the doctor suggested, no man, I think the cancer is getting out of control. I think you should go to Joburg Gen. So Joburg Gen. Joburg Gen, the doctor tells me, this is now the 13th of December, 2013. The doctor tells me, Umukwala in another room, he's now consulting with me. He tells me, your mom is too weak for chemo. If we put her on chemo now, she's going to die within a week. But still, the 20th of January, the kasi fitla sa phela. So the only thing you can do now, kore umyetse abe comfortable. Wabo. So, and also telling her this information that I'm telling you will make her stress and will make her die sooner.
Yeah.
So what you can tell her, 25th of January she'll start chemo, so that she can also be hopeful.
Okay.
I'm 19. Imagine now a doctor is telling you your mom is gonna die. But I was hopeful. I have a very good relationship, you know. I'm like, you know what? Only God knows when a person will die.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then, 20th January in the morning, indeed, she starts complicating. But this thing doesn't come back to me, what the doctor said.
On this day, yeah.
So she tells me, no, man, you know what? I don't feel well. Phone the ambulance. Wabo. And then I call the ambulance. The ambulance comes, we go to the hospital. We're at the hospital the whole day because when we got there, I think they were seeing her. She was actually gonna die because when they tried to read her vitals, there was no response, nothing. So they started counseling me as well. And then around 3:00 she died.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. And then she died. Now I'm calling Bomamnani. I called them earlier to tell them, hey, I'm taking this person to the hospital. And they were like, then as soon as we knock off, we'll come. So I called them, this person is no more. So they made their way to the hospital to sign some documents, and we now heading home. When I get home, my mom's other sisters are at the house already. Nakitsenaka black baggy with the clothes that my mom was wearing. My brother is there, and there's a quarrel between these people. What's going on? Bamukuba. As soon as I got there, they chased my brother away, and then he left. So Haki find out what were they fighting about. They tell me, no, this guy, he's saying when I because the person who imagine, it's just a few hours after my mom died. I don't believe you know. So I'm like, after the funeral, you know, I don't want to put that in my head. And then we plan the funeral. He's not there. He comes to the funeral, like an outsider.
On the day of the funeral?
On the day of the funeral. Sure. From the first day that she died to the day of the funeral, that's when he came to the house. Okay, we bury my mom. We come back. Life goes on. I'm now left there. I'm staying with my cousin and his wife.
We're in the same house?
In the house, I was staying with my mom, and I'm only 19. I can't be there alone. So the family had a meeting before they all left, and then we're like, who do you feel comfortable to stay with? I was like, no, let's just call my cousin and his wife, because Bonabadula ko big room, and the house is big enough for all of us. And then they came. We stayed together until they also got their own place, and then now it was 2 years later. And then and I'm also now working in a spa, massage. And then now my brother comes back
after 2 years.
He's starting to come back. Lady Pampiritsa ko Master of High Court. He's calling me for meetings there. He's telling me, you need to leave when that's my mother's house. And I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to go? And this person, he's old. He's old. He's even getting pension. That's how old he is. So, masters, I think at the Master of High Court, they were buying me time, you know, because they could see the papers. Kids are the foster care papers. So when you're being fostered, you don't really have rights.
It's not like, also you were not like adopted.
Exactly.
You were being fostered.
Yes.
Okay.
So they were like, no, you can't chase her away. That's the home she knows. So unless when you give her a place to stay and you'll pay for that place, that's when she can leave. But other than that, she's gonna stay there. And because it's your mom, you have the right to stay there as well. Hey, I don't have a relationship with this person. Hey, now I'm telling Bomam hey, guys, court. And then when we kept on going there, because sometimes they would say, no, come back, and then there was a time where they came with me. And they were like, hey, you can't stay with this person. You don't have a relationship with him. And besides that, my aunt tells me, the one who told me about the adoption, how it happened, she tells me, when the magistrate asks you why you don't feel comfortable, just tell him there was a time where you were bathing and this person was invading your space and whatnot, so that they can think you're not safe around this person. And I mentioned to you I have a very strong relationship le Modimo, and I remember the scripture Modimo ha batle motho o tlo buang maka ka motho mong.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, now it's either I lie or what now, you know? And you know, the Holy Spirit just told me, if you really want me to be your advocate, do what is in my word.
Yeah.
If I tell you, don't lie against the person, do not. When we got there, I just told the truth. I was like, I don't have a relationship with this person. And seeing that he started fighting me after my mom passed on, I don't trust him. I don't know how desperate he is to get rid of me. So I don't know. I just don't want to stay with him in the house. So let's find another way of actually. And then they said, but then there's nothing we can do. This person also has a right to stay there. Now he's saying he doesn't have a place to stay. One Sunday I'm coming from church. Ke mo kreya o pakile le van mole una le finisher o tsamaya le mosadi e ke sa mo tsebeng. Even the family members don't even know that wife because they didn't have a relationship.
Yeah.
And now, okay, I'm also fighting my aunt now on our way back. They're like, we told you to say this and you didn't say this. I can't get a miss goody and whatnot. I think that's where the tension also started with me and them, you know. I was like, but then I couldn't say that because it's not the truth. It's a serious allegation against another person. Because what am I implying if I'm saying that?
Yeah.
One understand. So then when he started coming now to the house with his furniture saying when I called them, they said, we told you you must say this and this and this. You're not in that situation. Hey, now I'm thinking, and then, you know, in the communities, when you want to call the community, and that's what I did. And I give it about you know what, guys, this guy, and I don't know, I can't stay with this guy. And relationship,
yeah.
So I don't know what to do. The community tries to chase him away. The wife calls the police. The police, they come and then have a fitla mole. They say, no, he has a right to stay. And I was like, okay, but then how can we make this comfortable for both of us? Because now I don't feel comfortable staying with him and his wife and I don't know them. And this guy, a police guy, he said, because RDP, it's a 4-room house, why don't you divide the house? Because I want the room. Just divide the house. It's a 2-room. And I said, okay, that will work. It's a Sunday evening now. Okay, Reagena, they take the other room, I take the other room. I also divided the house, we sleep. I'm making plans to create dinner, create and people, you know, the division of the house. When those guys came and they delivered the material and everything, my brother starts fighting. This is my mom's house. No house is going to be divided. If you don't want to stay here, you must leave. I said, no ways. I called the police again. And luckily, the same police people who were responding to the first time, they came again and they were like, we're gonna close you up if you don't want to do this. So you choose Horobatlang. Okay, now we need to divide the house. And mind you, it's now 2 years after my mom has passed on. I'm working. Take it to the sofa, regular TV, regular that and that and that.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't want cafe shayaka.
Yeah.
He's now fighting with my cafe shayaka. No.
Saying what? Saying it's his mom's furniture.
Yeah. Oh no, his mom had a dining room suite, and then they say that's why I bought the sofa. You know, and I gave that away to another elderly lady. So now he's like, yeah. If until you bring back those things, mama, and then you can get your sofas. I was like, hell no. I'm going to get my sofas. And luckily, when I buy stuff, I put away the slips. So I show the policeman, these are my slips of everything that I bought. And then that's how I got back my stuff. And he starts shouting at me, hey, whatever. And we're exchanging words because now I'm also angry, you know. And I'm like, I'm much better than you because whenever so who's better?
Yeah.
And now Harsa Udwan. I stay on the other side of the house. He stays on the other side of the house. He made it hell for me because now and again ha ke fitla the lock ya ko gating e change itso ha ke na ski tshwantse ke eme gating e byanong ke bitse mphakathi gape. It was not nice at all. And then we stayed there re ntse re lwana re yetsetsana di protection order because he would even sometimes take my clothes off the washing line at that's how uncomfortable he made it for me. It's a protection order and it was granted. Now wabona hore ish motho ha ke motshwenye,
I'm gonna go to jail.
I'm gonna go to jail. But he took his chances. He cut the electricity cable. And at this time now, I just gave birth to my firstborn child. He's just a few months old. He cuts the electricity. I don't have electricity. And I'm trying to find out in the other houses. It's only my side of the house and his side of the house in Ali light. So what's going on? I call this other guy from Oberekangeko Eskom. I call him, I ask him, hey man, so. He comes, he checks, because I had bought a smaller mnyana meter for my side of the house. Yes. And then he's like, no, there's no power supply. Wabo. And then he asks to go and check that side. He refuses. I call the police again. Maponisa hafitla, they discovered he cut the power supply. Bamukwal. And now this is when I saw how family he's now in Bamukwal. And then that guy says, no, I'll arrange some guys that I work with the cable so that you can have power supply. But now I'm at work. I get a call from Magistrate Court. Hi, Nomakhozi. Yes, I know them. Oh, okay. Bala e court bathi wena ubathumile ukuthi bazokhipha ubhuti wakho. Yabo? I'm like, no, I never said that. I never said that. Yeah, balana bathi ubathumile because when you're at work, you wanna actually get your brother out. Okay. Yeah, you wanna withdraw the case and stuff. I said, no, I don't wanna withdraw the case. I do not wanna do that. And when I came back from work, they were waiting for me. Yeah, how can you do this to your brother? And I'm like, but guys, these are the circumstances, and I've been trying to let you guys know, but you guys did not even show any interest. You know, my pastor got involved to an extent. He would sometimes arrange the family meetings with my brother's pastor as well. My brother is also a pastor, by the way. Arrange the meetings, you know, can we try and fix this thing? But then it was not successful because family members were not involved. One understand. So now there's now a change. So I tell my pastor again, this is happening, and my pastor says, you know what, let's try and make a meeting and see how we can resolve the matter. And they decide, no, we're not going to be there. I tell my pastor, but they won't come.
They don't want to be part of it.
And they actually came that day. And family. And they are on my brother's side. In a 2-room family. So basically they are saying leave. One understand. And my aunt, Mamnganwaka, after seeing that thing, the way things happened after court, I also withdraw. Yes. But then I did try to reach out here and there. We know it's serious stuff. Because now she's the mom I know. Because we had a great relationship. Even after I fell pregnant, I told her, I first tell her son, I'm pregnant and I don't know how to tell your mom. And he's like, if you're scared to tell her over the phone, you must send her a message. And then just switch off your phone. You'll see it whenever you're ready. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I sent her a text. And then she was like, okay, but then you're grown anyway. Because I was now 25. She was like, you're grown anyway. But then Kitlabuta Mampo, her older sister, Olamang, my mom. Kitlabuta Yena. And then she asks me, how far am I? And I was like, no, I'm only 6 weeks. She said, no, it's fine. You know, I can habum shimani and do all those necessary stuff. And I was like, yes. She said, okay, Kitlabuale Mampo, and then we'll tell you. Said, okay. She decided not to tell Mampo. And in this family meeting that they said they won't be available, but now she says to Mampo is angry. Maranoma, you were pregnant, you didn't even tell us. But then when it comes to tsa montlong, you want us to come. And I was like, but then, and luckily I had screenshots. I was like, but then kids said the message. I told her, and she said she was going to tell you. And I ka mo latella hore, hey, I'm now pelam isisu siyakhula angakakhulumi, and she was like, yeah, no, I'm still busy, hey, wara, you know. And then now bianong waibo hore se ile jwang.
Yeah.
And then we had that quarrel go meeting in ya hore no ke habo bona. I couldn't believe it, you know. I was so shattered that day. Hore, what do you mean if you la hore ke habo bona a etse jwang? Nna ha se ko habo rona. I grew up here, you know. The least you can do is just be neutral. But that's when I saw hore, okay, no,
blood is thicker than water.
Blood is thicker than water. And now I'm starting to feel like I don't belong.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to feel that void. Yo, I wonder what it feels like who's gonna stand up for you, because the only person who ever did that for me in life
was your mom.
Is the one who's dead. You know? And it's the only time now where I'm experiencing stuff where I really need someone to stand up for me. You know? He's old. I can't like fight with this person all the time. So now I started working for a law firm in Joburg. I was working as a paralegal there. And then there was an investigating company that we used to work with. So there was a specific case that I was busy with, and I speak to this guy who that company, the investigating company, and I tell him, you know what, I would like to know my parents, you know, but the only thing I know, you know those clinic cards, yellow. Yeah, that's the only thing I had that my mom left me with, Molly. And I said, I only know my parents' names and surnames and the hospital that I was born in. But other than that, he was like, no, we can work with that.
Yeah, that is, it's something.
Yeah. So it was on a Monday when I gave him that information. And on Wednesday, he's like, I have a report. He comes back with a report. And on the report, he gives me, from my dad's side, it's my uncle, Babungani, and my dad's ex-wife's numbers. And then on my mom's side, he only gave me numbers. Akere, they use system home affairs, and they also use the system how when we recap our SIM cards, we use our our addresses. Yes. So he gave me a address Mutodulang more where my mom grew up.
Okay.
And it's a young person. So those are now the numbers. I only have numbers now. So I say because now we are knowing it says both my parents are alive. And I had this colleague, she was so patient with me, because when I started this process, I was literally living in her office all the time. And she would listen to me all the time. I was like, now I'm nervous. What am I going to ask her? What if I get there and she says, why did you look for me? I don't want you. Now I'm scared.
Of being rejected.
Exactly. Now I'm like, yo. And then I reach out, go the number that was provided. And this girl says, you know what? No, I'm staying with my granny here, but then the person that you're looking for, but I can ask my granny.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then she speaks to her granny. She gets back to me and she says, this stand was sold a long time ago by those people. But then she said they live a bit far from us now. And then she says, you know what, the least I can do for you is just write on Facebook, on our Facebook page, because it's the same village.
Okay.
It's just a bit far apart. So she says, okay, tell me your mom's name and surname. I can just write something on Facebook. And indeed, that helped.
Okay.
And my mom's name was Kondepi. So in that village, she was the only Kondepi. So that's how easy it was for them to say, no, this person, you know. So a guy comments there because she tagged me. And then a guy comments there. He says, I know I have a lead on this. Here's my number. Just contact me in the morning, because now it was in the evening. I said, okay. When I get to work, I contact this guy. This guy says, no, I'm a neighbor. But the thing is, this person, she's not alive. She died. So, and I'm like, no, the person she's alive.
She's alive, yeah.
So he says, there was only one person with that name here. And there's no way for the story because I also know there's a child wa hae o latlhehileng re sa mo tsebeng hore o ko kae. I was like, okay. And he said to me, no, let me connect you with her 2 kids. That is now my brother, my older brother, and my younger sister.
Okay.
And then now he connects us, and now my brother, he's asking me questions based on what my granny used to tell him. And then it's connecting.
Okay.
No, man, this person vele ke yena motho re mo batlang. My sister says, "Hi, man, this is my WhatsApp number. Send me your pictures." I send them my pictures, and they're like, "Yo, I know you, mama, exactly. Like my dental structure apparently ke yona." And they tell me, "No, she passed on." And I'm like, "She passed on, Biang, because Home Affairs iriwapela, and you guys are telling me." And they're like, "No, Rona re tseba asina ID."
Oh.
So which means maybe half it like Joburg, yena I get her ID and she didn't tell them. She died in a car accident, and then they just came and took her body and buried her. So they never saw the need to register death.
Okay, because they didn't know she had an ID.
Yes.
But according to your siblings, what is the story about how you were given away?
My siblings didn't know much because they were young.
Okay.
My sister is younger than me, and Liana, her story is another one.
Okay.
Because now my mom gave birth to me, Kakwane, and they know me, and she has my brother. When she was working in Boksburg, where she left me, she had left my brother that side, fell pregnant with me this side. When she was about to give birth, she went back home, and then she gave birth. So when it was time for her to come back, her mom, which was 2 weeks after, her mom says, "No, see, and she was like, "No, this one is a girl. I'll raise her."
Okay.
That's how she left Nelspruit to come to Boksburg, and then she decided to leave me there. Go spetlela, go. That's where she abandoned me.
So she took you with from home.
Yes.
And brought you this side so that she can leave you this side.
Yes.
The plan was not for her to raise you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
According to what they're saying.
According to what they are saying.
Okay.
And also, you know how it is when you, maybe let's say you're from Venda and you're coming to Joburg. There are some people that know you. Abatlileng another side. And they see you. Oh, this girl, she came from Mahayeng Lingwana. And then jigi. Khunali stories already, there's a child who was abandoned there. And then yena hasanangwan. You know? But they say my mom was she was very fast when it comes to hitting people. So this lady, she was scared to talk. Because now every time she goes home after abandoning me, no, she's with her dad. You know, and they wouldn't want to get too much into it. So my granny never had peace about it, you know. So only after she passed on, that's when this other one told them, "Hey, that child is adopted. She's in a crèche more Boksburg. Umukana." No, every time when she goes home, she would tell them, "Salimukana, salimukana." And when my granny says, "No, let's arrange transport," and then she would just disappear. She would run away.
That lady.
She wouldn't want to come and show my granny
where
I was. Where I was. So now hearing this story, which means Nalina Hakibona, because indeed Vele Nekibala in a Kretschko Boksburg, she was seeing me. And also I'm thinking my mom, before she died in that car accident, she was also watching me grow up.
Yeah.
Because she was still in Boksburg. So when I get that side, now my sister says, "I only heard you have an older sister, she was adopted in Boksburg, this is her name." That's all my sister had. That's all my brother knew. My aunt, my biological mom, she would also tell me, when we ask her, she wouldn't want to tell us, so we never knew where you were. She even shows me Facebook posts that she used to write. I'm looking for my sister's daughter. With no success, she would write to Kumbulekai with no response, you know. And I would also write to Kumbulekai after my mom's passing and all these things happening on this side. I would write to Kumbulekai with no response, but I believe in God's timing, you know. So, but then luckily we found each other, and that's from there we had a relationship.
And your dad's side?
And my dad's side, I reach out to Babu Mngane, and I tell him, "Guti, hey, Babu Mngane, Uzbanbani Wakapala, and my biological mom gave me my dad's surname. And that guy or investigator, he tells me hore, on the system ya Home Affairs, it shows that my mom and my dad, they both registered my certificate. That's how I got my dad's surname.
Yeah.
So he gives me the ID number and everything, and it corresponds. So I call ubaba mncane, I tell him ukuthi ay ngumuntu so ngumntana kabhuti wakho. Uyabona, and he tells me ukuthi ay okay, because I also stay in Joburg, but your dad is in Begersfort. I'll come to the office where you're working, and then we can have a chat. He comes with his son, and he's like, "Ay maravelo utona le rena whatever." And he investigates. Who's your mom? Where did your mom stay? And it does correspond. Around 94, 95, 93. My dad moved to Nelspruit. You see, so that's where they possibly met. And my dad survived the stroke since 2004. He was not normal. He was not okay. So now they tell him, hey, so, and my dad is like, oh, okay. Yeah, when is she coming? This is now in November 2023. So, and they like, when Ubaba Mnganwam told the rest of the family, so they were happy. And they were like, we want to do a small anyana ceremony, welcome and stuff. And they were like, can you please come in Jan to come and meet your dad and the rest of the family?
Jan 2024?
Yes. Okay, fine. I'm waiting now, And the last Friday, January, my dad, he starts asking, hi, Ganti, where's my daughter? When is she coming? When is she coming? And his sister, Onadula Liana, who was taking care of him, she decides to take the phone and call me. Says, hey, Papa, no, next weekend, get. The following weekend, I was supposed to go and meet him, and then we speak over the phone. She gives him the phone. I couldn't hear him clearly because I'm not good but they're not that well. And my dad is Bedi. So he speaks to me, he asks me, and I tell him, no, next weekend, him now, and he's like, oh, okay. And the sister says to him in the background, and he says, no, haki feel. My dad slept that night, he didn't wake up.
Sure. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so he didn't.
And I think maybe your aunt, when she was saying Muskato Jangwana, it was like she could see this person is about to let go.
Yeah, he's not okay. So that Saturday morning, I wake up, I sprinkle, and normally when I wake up, the first thing I look at is my phone. But that day I didn't look at my phone. I just got busy. When I sat down around 1, I'm like, let me take my phone. I see the missed calls. I'm saying to my sister, because now my sister, after I met them in December.
Okay.
And now it's January 2024. So my sister decided to come for December and just to bond with me and get to know me. So now I'm with her. I said to her, yo, abantu bakaphala bangfonela kangaka. She's like, abantu bagini. What do you mean? And I'm like, no, I'm miss calling gaga.
Yeah.
There's something happening. Hey, and I decided to listen to my Ubaba Mncane voice note and he's crying. He's telling me, my baby, I'm so sorry. Hey, your dad is no more. The pain I felt.
Sure.
Because I was telling my colleague, the one that I used to share so much with, I was telling her, hey, I thought I actually got over the fact now I've grieved me. And now that I found my mom again and she's alive, I wonder what it's gonna feel like when she dies, because now that's also now another fear unlocked. And the same with my dad as well. And I was excited with my dad, at least now the word dad is going to be part of my vocab, and I never had that. My adopted mom was a single mother, so I never had a father figure. Now I'm going to get a chance to actually have that. But then, he passed on before I actually met him. The weekend that I was supposed to meet him, I was actually burying him.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, that's hectic.
Very.
Yeah.
Very, very.
And this is something which is very common. I wonder why. I wonder why it happens like that when people have never met, when it's time for them to meet the other one.
Passes on. Yeah, and it leaves you with a lot of questions that you'll never get answers to. Because in my case, the only people that could give me answers is my mom and my dad.
And they're not there.
And they're not there, And my dad was also not a reliable source because now this person, ushapilo ki stroke, unali years anali stroke, and there are things that he does not even remember.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
you
can't count on him in terms of giving you like information.
The only person who is gonna give me accurate information is my mom, and now she's no more. So I'm left with those questions for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And you know, when things like that happen, you don't know.
You ask yourself, what is this that is happening, to me?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm so sorry, sis. And now, how is your relationship with both your sides of the family, the biological families?
It's amazing. Amazing. From my dad's side, I have a sister. My older brother had passed on when I got there already. So my sister and I were very close. My sister and from my mom's side, we're very close. My brother, I think with all my siblings, I'm the closest with my brother from my mom's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a very good relationship with them.
Yeah.
Now I feel like, now I belong.
Yeah.
That gap that has always been there, because I would always wonder, I always wondered until I gave birth to my firstborn son. I always wondered, what does it feel like to look at a person who's your flesh? That's how lost I felt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I wondered, like how does it feel to look at a woman and say, she carried me in her stomach. Or this is my brother.
Oh,
He's
this
my
one,
blood.
we shared the same space in our mother's stomach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always wondered what it felt like, seeing how others, Libona, when my cousins I have also from my adopted family, there are some family members that I'm still close with.
Okay, I wanted to ask that, to say from your aunts and from the other side, are there some people that you're still in communication with?
Yes, I do. I'm very close with some of my cousins. And there's two of my cousins. The other one passed on 4 years ago. So Yana and her sister, they were very close. And Elena, I was like the third sister. And the other sister, the younger sister, Wahai and me, we used to fight a lot. So sometimes this one would stand up for Wawan.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, okay.
And maybe to somebody who's watching this at home and they're having like some sort of like identity crisis because they don't really have details of where they come from. It's very nice to sit with your grandmother and they tell you about when you were still young, when you were conceived, how you grew up. So there's somebody who's got identity crisis because they know very well that where they are is not where they belong per se. I don't know, because I believe that in your case you belonged until your mom passed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What would you advise somebody who is also still wondering about their parents, their biological parents and their families?
Sure, that's a very hectic one, especially for a person who doesn't know whether they're gonna find them or not,
and how they're gonna be received.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just never know. You just never know. You'll feel lost. But then the only advice that I can give you, my coping mechanism was being close to God.
Yeah.
It was just because God had my back. God carried me through and through. God carried me with all the questions that I had, with all the voids that I had. God filled them.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I can give you as a person. That's the only advice that I can give you. But then other than that, I was lost.
Yeah.
And had I not found them, I don't know where I would be.
Sure. Right now, imagine.
I do not know where I would be. But then only after I got my son, that's when I felt like, now this is flesh of my flesh.
Yeah.
But then he's my descendant.
Yeah.
I haven't met who I don't know where I come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then until now, now I'm feeling that. Now I can feel it when my Ubabumnanwam calls me, hey my baby, you sharp. Just to call me Horiki sharp, that's foreign to me. Like, unless someone needs something from me.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
When I receive a call, someone is gonna say, how na this and that. But for someone to call me and say, are you okay?
Yeah.
That is...
Okay, another part that I would love for you to touch on is forgiveness. Tell me about forgiveness when it comes to situations or setup like these ones.
Sure. Yeah, no. Yeah, the forgiveness part, in this case, I was wondering, because now I had fear. Before I found out that my mom died, I started being anxious. am I going to be able to look her in the eyes and forgive her? Because this is the only person that I needed to forgive.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether I have forgiven her fully, but one thing I know for sure, I'm not angry because she didn't kill me, and they didn't find me in a dustbin or goopy, under a bridge somewhere. I believe Hori. I believe Hori. She put me there and stood far and waited for someone to find me. And a part of me believes Hori, it was circumstances. And now that I met my sister as well, she would also give me closure. Yauri, we weren't raised nicely because we were poor. And the person who raised me did everything in her power to give me an education, to make sure Hori, I'm raised well. So now, I don't know how it feels like to grow up poor.
Yeah.
So maybe for those reasons, I'm not angry. I did not have anger at all. It was just a matter of Yauri. I wonder why. Why? Maybe if I had met her and she gives me answers that don't make sense, maybe then I would be angry.
Because for me, the biggest question mark is the fact that your mom and dad, they both were present when you were born. That's why you have both their details on your card, your clinic card, and all of that stuff. I just wonder what happened between them that led to your mom having to leave you somewhere where she felt like somebody else would do a better job at raising her.
When I look at it now, the age gap between them was very big because when my mom actually conceived me, she was 19 and my dad was 31.
Okay.
So the age gap is it's huge.
Yeah.
And after that time, my dad had gone through his first divorce. I don't know if he was really married to this person, but then he had someone and he had just broken up with this person. So I'm not sure, was it a matter of this one ke rebound yaka ke ngwananyana, and then I don't know what the situation was, but
and also your mom was like, now when you are this age, you can tell a 19-year-old is just a baby.
She was very young. She was very young, but then when she had died, she was 23 and pregnant with the fourth baby.
Sure.
When she died pregnant in that car accident.
Yeah.
And she had her fourth baby. After me was my sister, whom my family didn't know about, because when she was pregnant with my sister, she never went home. She gave birth Honamo Jobeki, and she was staying with my sister's dad. And then she was raising. So the lady on Ababuta information, after my mom's passing, is the one after they buried my mom and went to tell them, because now she has a baby girl. And now they're surprised because the other one, and then at least that one, when they said she did take them there, and they found my sister there. She was 3 years old. No, not 3, she was 2. Yeah, but she was still a baby. And then they found my sister there. That's how they took her from her dad. And now also Liana, she lost the relationship with her dad. She doesn't know her dad. That's how she got to be raised with the rest of the family from my mom's side.
And this mysterious woman, have you ever had an encounter with her? Or is she not around anymore? This woman that used to feed information to the family?
No, actually what had happened is when my sister grew up, she grew up hearing her, you have a sister, and the person who has information about this person and who can give you accurate information, and now they are grown, they're like, "Ay man, manje my brother is saying, I send kulile ngiyasebenza, ngingasigibeza sejobek. Asiyobuza loya muntu ukuthi usisi wethu kuphi kahle kahle. See, when they got there 2 weeks ago, they buried that lady.
Oh, sure.
So one thing I believe, it was not time.
It was not time, yeah.
It was not time. And that's why I'm saying when you're feeling lost and you have an identity crisis, it's very important to be close to God, because so that you can understand his timing.
Yeah.
If you're not close to him, you'll never understand his timing. You'll never understand his ways, you know. Yeah, so like I believe now it was the time. And I'm just inquiring. I don't know am I gonna get information or not, but because it was God's time for me to meet my families.
you know, you are preaching the true gospel right now. And I've got this belief that I feel sad for people who don't believe in anything. Like, even if you believe on a stick, on a tree, I feel like when you believe in something, that carries you. There has to be a supernatural power that you believe in.
Yes.
So that, like, I just cannot imagine, myself, I believe in God. You know, I cannot imagine my life, whether I'm going through storms or I'm seeing blessings and this and that. I cannot imagine my life without believing in anything, you know. Okay, in closing, what is the message that you want to... Okay, I think I've already asked you, what can you share with the people at home? But is there anything else that you have left from what you've shared with us that you feel like it's important and you want the people at home to know?
No, I actually have spoken about everything that I've went through that I feel like was necessary. A lot obviously happened in between, but the things that are necessary for me to share and also would help another person who's in the situation that I was in. At least there's hope, to give them hope. You can. And even if you don't find them, but then as long as you find where you come from, because your mother's siblings and your mother's family is your family.
Yeah.
And that's where you truly belong.
Okay.
There's hope, because there's no way, if you don't find your parent, you won't find the rest of the family.
Exactly.
At least if you find umamncane, ugogo, or someone, you will feel like you belong.
Okay, and the message to your family? What do you have to say to your family? Both your mom's side of the family, your dad's side of the family, and also your adopted mom's family.
The message that I have for them, firstly, my mom's side of the family, my adopted mom's side of the family, thank you. Thank you for loving me, caring for me. And my mom, she's no longer there, but mostly I would like to say thanks to her. That woman. And I had planned, when I find my mom, I was going to tell her, not to say that you're not my mom, but every time mangi to my mom,
I'm talking about this.
I'm referring to that one, because there's no one who can take her place. You know. And then to my mom's family, I would also love to say thank you for welcoming me and waiting for me with warm and open arms. That's how they received me, and I'm very grateful for that. And my dad's side of the family as well, I'm very grateful to them. Very, very. I'm closer to my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
I'm very grateful for them. Like, they are very loving. That is a warm home.
Sure. I'm so happy for you, Sissy. Like, I'm really happy that this is a happy ending.
Yeah.
And those who want to get a hold of you, where do they get you on the socials?
On Facebook, I'm Nomakhozi.
Okay.
And then on TikTok, I'm actually a nail tech by profession.
Okay.
So on
based where?
In Prakpan.
Okay.
Yes. In the East End, basically. Yeah. So on TikTok, I'm modern_nails.
Okay.
And then on WhatsApp, they can find me on 060-890-1770.
Okay.
Those are my numbers.
Well, thank you so much, Sissy. I think this is one of those, even when Felicity told me that there's somebody who wants to share a story of her being adopted and finding their family, I was like, this is a unique story. And it's quite common, but because people don't talk about these type of stories, I think it would be nice to have somebody sharing this type of story. So I really appreciate you letting us in and sharing your story with us, hoping that it's going to, encourage and empower other people and give them hope to not give up on trying to find themselves and also find their families.
Yes.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you so much for joining in, Bazalwane. Please do leave a lovely comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think about today's episode, and we shall see each other on the flip side. I love you. God bless you. Mwah.